Hello, I'm David Puttnam, and I'd just like to very briefly put in a plea, or certainly an argument, very strongly in favour of the UCC academic strategy document that's been recently adopted, because I think it's a very important document and a very important step in the right direction for third level education in general. It's clear to me that we're going to have to create a new form of engaged learner if we're to deal with the employability issues of the mid to late 21st century. There's no question of that in my own mind. Now, people constantly talk about this changing world of work, and I'm not one of those people who's silly enough to think that the sole role of the university is merely to find good jobs for people and make them employable. There's no question it is part of our remit. And the world of work is altering at a very rapid pace. I'd go so far as to say, it may sound outlandish, but I'm not sure it is, that quite likely that to have a fulfilling career, a good student may well have to do the equivalent of 3 different master's degrees during the course of that career, probably 10-year intervals, but that the pace of change with artificial intelligence and everything else altering, and new jobs, new opportunities coming onto the horizon, we must, as universities, be in a position to be able to take on people at different points during their career and help them overcome the obstacles or the questions or the problems that they will undoubtedly be encountering. God knows, I in my own career have had to retrain at least twice, probably actually 3 times, in order to reach this advanced age and still be relatively useful, I think. One of the things that struck me here, and I like it very, very much indeed, is the connected curriculum framework. I think it's a very, very important concept, and I can well imagine that it will not come without pain. It will require quite a lot of people to rethink the way they work, to reconnect with colleagues in other parts of the university and see themselves as a web of learning as opposed to individual departments and individual bits and pieces of the process of learning and process of research. It's going to be a different kind of world for the university professor, university lecturer of the future. And this business of collaboration, always talked about, seldom achieved, in fairness, is going to have to be part and parcel of what we manage to get our heads around. When I say the world of work is changing, I mean it. I've got a very graphic illustration of that. People tend to think, commonplace to think, that the financial services industry is this extraordinary nirvana where people can leave university, get very good jobs, earn a lot of money, go to New York, whatever. The truth is that the financial services industry has, if anything, flatlined during the past decade. Conversely, the creative services, or the creative sector that I represent, has grown at a quite extraordinary rate. Certainly in the UK, it's grown exponentially. It's now the fastest, by far, the fastest growing section of the economy. So the idea that traditional modes of earning a living have kind of settled and that we are dealing with a world not dissimilar to the world of 20, 30 years ago is wildly inaccurate. So universities must be aware of this. They've got to tailor their courses to this. They've got to tailor their expectations to this and allow the opportunity for students entering university during their time at the university to become aware of, and if necessary, take advantage of this ever-expanding, ever-changing series of opportunities that are opening up for them. This is why I'm a big fan of this. This is why I think that John O'Halloran and his colleagues got it exactly right. And this is why I would beg anyone engaging with this academic strategy to do so enthusiastically and to understand it does change things. It may be painful, but at the end of the day, it is a strictly necessary pain if we're to develop the students of the future that, as an economy, as a nation, we desperately need. Thanks for listening to me.